In this lecture, we're going to look at 7 words connected with health and well-being. Health and well-being. And the 7 words are blood pressure, cognitive, immune, intake, mental, posture, and recover. The next word or phrase really is blood pressure. Blood pressure. And blood pressure is the amount of force with which blood flows around your body. And you can see the person in the picture is measuring their blood pressure with the pad around their arm. The nurse will monitor your blood pressure. The drugs will help to lower your blood pressure. Her blood pressure has dropped dramatically in the last hour. So she's very, very ill. Some common collocations, some very precise language here as well. Diastolic blood pressure. So blood pressure is measured using 2 numbers. There's diastolic and there's systolic blood pressure. And the first number, you are usually given a blood pressure with 2 numbers. The first number is systolic. That measures the pressure in your blood vessels when your heart beats. And the second number, the diastolic blood pressure, measures the pressure in your blood vessels when your heart rests between beats. You can have high blood pressure and also raised blood pressure, which is very similar to high blood pressure. And the opposite is low blood pressure. And in between, normal blood pressure. And you check blood pressure. You check someone's blood pressure. Or you can take blood pressure. You can take someone's blood pressure. No synonyms. It's a very precise phrase there. So blood pressure. The next word is cognitive. Cognitive. And cognitive relates to the mental processes involved in knowing things, in learning things, understanding things. So the man in the picture is playing chess, and you need very good cognitive skills to play chess. As children get older, their cognitive skills become stronger. This man is Lev Vygotsky, a famous Russian psychologist, and Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development has been very influential. Some people with depression can benefit from cognitive therapy. So cognitive is an adjective, and the adverb is cognitively. Cognitively. And there is also a noun form, cognition. Cognition. So cognitive, cognition. Some common collocations: cognitive development, cognitive therapy, cognitive skills, and cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. This is the mental stress you feel, or that a person feels, when they have one belief but they're faced with a contradictory belief. Some synonyms for cognitive: mental, intellectual, and thinking. So there you are, cognitive. The next word is immune. Immune. So if you are immune to a particular disease, you won't get it. You won't be affected by it. And the person in the picture here is stopping the disease from getting to them. They are immune to the disease. Some example sentences: the blood test will show whether you are immune to the disease. Her immune system was very weak. You can see she has a cold. Once you recover, you will be immune to measles. So immune is an adjective. You can also have a noun form, immunity, which is an uncountable noun. Immunity. You can be immune to something. You have an immune system and an immune response. So your body has an immune response. And you will have an immune reaction to something. Some common synonyms for immune is resistant, safe from, so you might be safe from getting measles, unaffected, protected, immune. The next word is intake. Intake. So your intake of something, so food, water, medicine, is the amount that you take in, that you consume of that thing. So how much you eat, how much you drink. Take in, basically. Intake means take in. So your intake of alcohol should not exceed 2 units per day. You must reduce your sugar intake. We will have a fresh intake of students next week. And it's a noun, so you can say intakes, but it's very rarely used. Some common collocations: an intake of something, an intake of sugar, for example. You can cut the intake or reduce the intake of something. And doctors often talk about restrict the intake, restricting the intake of sugar, for example. A daily intake is a common collocation. Your recommended intake, an alcohol intake, an intake of alcohol. So you can use intake in these two different ways: alcohol intake, intake of alcohol. And some synonyms: consumption is a common synonym for intake, or simply take in. There you are then, intake. The next word is mental. Mental. And mental means things relating to thought processes, to thinking. But it also relates to the state or health of a person's mind, what we call mental health, for example, depression. This man has poor mental health, he's depressed. Some examples: children undergo rapid mental development in the first few years of life. After returning from war, he developed severe mental health problems. She underwent a lot of mental anguish after the death of her mother. So mental is an adjective, and the adverb form is mentally. Mentally. And some common collocations: mental illness. So mental here is an adjective. You can be mentally ill, so mentally is an adverb here, the adjective is illness. Mental development, mental anguish. And some synonyms for mental. The first three relate to thought processes, so intellectual, thought, cerebral. Cerebral is to do with the brain, using the brain. The next two are related to mental health, so psychiatric or mad. Now it depends on the context. Mad is a very informal way of talking about somebody with mental health problems. There's also the word psychotic. However, we don't talk about a psychotic illness. We talk about a psychotic disorder. So the collocation is important here. So it's mental illness, but psychotic disorder. So there you are, mental. Okay, let's look at this woman. She's running along. She's upright. She has a very good posture when she's running. Posture. So posture is the position in which you stand or sit, or in this case, run. She had good posture, but in this picture, you have a woman with bad posture. She's leaning forward, her spine hurts. And it's to do with position or pose. Some example sentences. You can make your stomach seem flatter by improving your posture. You must maintain good posture when you run. And this is a diagram, the position of skeleton in good and in poor posture. So good posture on the left, poor posture on the right. So we talk about good posture and bad posture, correct posture, and you should adopt a posture. So you take on a good posture or a bad posture. Synonyms include position, stance, and pose. There you are, posture. Here's the next word then. Recover. Recover. So when you get an illness or an injury, you often get better afterwards. So you recover. You get back to full health. So the woman in the picture, maybe she has the flu. She's trying to recover. Some examples then. He is recovering from surgery. So the dog went into surgery. He's got some stitches. Has to wear this neck collar. A mother is recovering quickly in hospital after a car crash. He never fully recovered from the virus. So recover is a verb, so recovers, recovering, recovered. Recovery is the noun form. Recovery. Some common collocations. You recover from something, to recover from something. A patient recovers. Now, recovering can also be used as an adjective, so you can be a recovering addict. And you can be fully recovered. Some synonyms for recover include recuperate, heal, bounce back. Now, bounce back is an informal phrase. You bounce back from an illness. Rebound. Convalesce is something that you often do in hospital. And mend. There's a common phrase we use in British English, on the mend. So when you are recovering, in the process of recovering, you are on the mend. So there's your word, recover. So there are the 7 words connected with health and well-being: blood pressure, cognitive, immune, intake, mental, posture, and recover. And again, do the practice quiz and don't forget to complete the vocabulary record.